Good.
Okay.
I'm ready when you are, Mr. President.
I'd like to call to order a meeting of the Port of Siuslaw Commission for Wednesday, January 21st. First of all, Commissioners, approval of the agenda. Anybody have any problems with the agenda? Okay, we'll move on to the approval of the minutes. I presume everybody had a chance to read them.
Well, we approve the minutes as printed, posted.
On
For
One or both?
both,
Oh, both meetings?
yes.
Okay,
I'll second.
The 17 December and the
And the
8
special meeting.
January.
do I just abstain since I wasn't here?
You can.
I wasn't here for the January special meeting. So
Do you want me to do them separately?
It'd probably be better.
Okay, I withdraw my motion to approve the minutes, both minutes, and I move that we approve the minutes for December 17th, the regular meeting.
And the maker of the second
I'll-
has to withdraw.
And I'll withdraw the second,
Okay, and I reiterate the December 17th meeting.
and I'll second that one.
Thank you.
okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, and now someone is going to make a motion to approve.
And I will also make a motion that we approve the special meeting on January 8th, 2015.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Anybody abstaining?
I abstain since
Okay.
I wasn't present.
Excellent. At this time, we'll open the meeting for remarks from the citizens. We have anybody sign up?
No.
Okay. We will continue on with the financials. Everybody have a chance to go through the annual financial report?
I have hard copies available if you would like, but I've also sent them to you electronically. Our auditor had surgery this month, so he is unable to attend tonight, but he would be happy to attend a meeting in the near future
Okay.
once he recovers to answer any questions you have.
Okay, we'll try to get him in here.
Well, Mr. Chair,
Yes, sir.
in these annual financial reports, in our opinion, the financial statements referred to above present fairly in all material respects the financial position of the port as of June 30th, 2014, and the changes in its financial position and its cash flows thereof for the year then ended in conformity with accounting principles generally accepted in the United States of America. That is a good statement. Basically, he's saying that what we gave him
Yes.
presented fairly
Right.
and accurately. And that was primarily why we hire an auditor, to go through here and see if there were any discrepancies or deficiencies. So just to point that out to the public, we have a clean report at
Yes.
this point.
And a very good report.
And
But we'll try and get him here maybe next month to give us a few more statements about where we're at and what we might need to do.
I didn't see any deficiencies
No.
in this report, so congratulations to staff.
Thank you.
Yes.
You did an excellent job. Very complicated. A lot of people don't realize the amount of work
Yeah.
that goes into this, but Dina, I really appreciate the work you do.
You're welcome.
Any other comments?
Do we need to accept this?
No, you don't need to. It's just being presented to you.
We don't need to,
But as far as the financial statements, you do need to
Mhm.
make it.
yes.
We ready to move to financial statements?
Yes.
Yes. I
Mr.
reviewed
Fleener, would you
them.
like to make
I
a
reviewed them,
motion?
they look fine to me, especially the part that shows that our equity is a lot larger than our liabilities.
That's always a good thing.
That's always a very good thing. We have any discussion on the financial statement?
It seems to be improving
Yes,
month after month,
been
year
very,
after
very good.
year. So
Yeah.
that's always a good sign.
yes.
The curve is
It's
going up,
because of the commission.
no doubt.
Well, maybe the manager has a lot to do with it too.
No, not much.
I would like to point out that the personnel services is a little high because we had 3 payrolls in December. Since the payroll falls on January 1st, being a holiday, we bumped it to December 31st.
Which will make January a little smaller.
Yes, exactly.
Taking a look at the campground occupancy, in December, it seems to continue to increase over the last several years. I'm a little disappointed in the hiker-biker, but maybe it was because of some of the rain events.
Not too many come in this time of year.
This time of year is a little tough on biking.
Yeah.
Mortgage rates up, so I think all is trending in the right direction. So with that, I would like to move approval. We'll go back up to the agenda here. Ratify bills paid in December of $130,161.23.
Second.
Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, moving on to next is at our meeting that we had, our work session, I was asked to come up with a state of the port message. And of course I did in my spare time, no problem. Anyway, I will read it to you. I hope you enjoy me reading to you. On Thursday, January 8th, the Port of Siuslaw Commissioners finished a review of the Port's 5-year strategic plan and established priorities for the next 3 years. One of the top priorities set by the Commission for this year is to seek out new funding sources to help reduce existing port debt and establish a reserve fund for future work projects. The Port will continue to work with local businesses and governmental agencies to create new opportunities for increased economic development. The Commissioners will continue to support our commercial fishing fleet and do what they can to attract more boats and fish-related businesses to the commercial boat basin in Old Town. They will also continue to support all other fishing-related enterprises in the Port District, including fishing charters, sports fishing, and kayakers. Expansion and improvements made to the RV park help keeps the RV park operating near capacity during the summer months and fall months, making it a great income source for the Port. One of the top priorities for the RV park is the establishment of a new bathroom in the east section of the park. The Port will continue to work with our state and federal delegations, the Army Corps of Engineers, and the Coast Guard to keep the river channel open and push for the needed repairs to our jetties. End of statement.
Thank you, Ron.
Good.
Clap, clap, clap.
Yeah, very good.
Huh?
Yeah, it was a good summation. Thank you.
Yeah, I thought it sounded fine. In my own, in my own mind, anyway. So we'll go on to the old business. Resolution 121-15A, adopt personnel policy revisions.
This was presented to you last month, and the only change I made was the addition of the on-call policy, which I believe is number 7.11. And it basically states that if an employee gets called in after hours for a reason, they get paid a minimum of 2 hours time, which covers their travel time and makes it worthwhile for them to come in on an on-call needed basis.
I was not here during that meeting. I'm happy with how it's presented, and I just wanted to ask staff, how are we with best practices with respect to our personnel policies? Are we getting there?
Oh
Are
yeah,
we there?
everything complies. Oh yeah, everything is. I mean, most of our personnel policies come from SDAO.
The best
Template.
practices.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Although we need to make a change that Jay pointed out, and we'll make that change, legal terminology that we need to make sure that we change on one topic. And we'll just take the word out and we'll be good.
Would you like to state what that is for the record?
Where is it? Yeah, no, he doesn't.
I believe, and I can't tell you exactly
I
where
was
it
trying
is,
to
but it's
find
under
it.
the assault. And I don't believe, it says, it refers to battery as unwanted touching. And I don't believe Oregon recognizes battery, its levels of assault.
We'll snag that and we'll take that out of there.
Any other
Other than
changes?
that,
Yeah.
Do I hear a motion to approve?
I just had one question, Dina, you wanted to change it 2 hours show up time?
Right.
I didn't change it. I added the on-call policy. It wasn't in there before. Nothing was in there before. There was no on-call policy in there before.
Not to question you, but I think state law requires 4 hours.
Really?
I think there's a law.
I will look into that.
Yeah.
I mean,
because
you call-
we run most everything through SDAO, but we'll check and see just to make
Yeah.
sure.
I'm just
Yeah, can't
thinking
hurt to
that
check.
for some reason,
Yeah.
it's always
Yeah.
been 4 hours with my,
I always thought it was 2 hours, but I could be wrong.
Well, Terry just treats his people better.
yeah.
It's richer than most of us.
Yeah, that's true.
Under Section M definitions, 3, controlled substances, we have cannabis, which is now going to be legal
Well, going to be legal.
July 1st. So I suppose we need to put a book note to ourselves. that
Yeah, we do. Yeah, well, assuming that they can come up with any, we're gonna have to mirror whatever policies and stuff the state comes up with.
Right.
Reviewing the personnel policies should be an annual
Yeah,
thing.
anyway,
So
so.
this will be coming back up for review a year from now in December, and any additional changes can be made.
Yeah, and we'll still be drug-free.
If we accept federal money, do we fall under federal law?
It's going to be
Not
interesting.
state?
It's,
I mean,
the good news is the state accepts a whole lot more money than we do, so we'll follow and see what their requirements are, and,
Yeah.
Personnel policies are usually under state jurisdiction,
but yeah.
since cannabis is regulated by the federal government, different than Oregon,
Right,
it's
right.
going to be an interesting.
Yes, that's
Interaction.
That's to be
It's gonna be fun to
decided
see.
yet.
Yeah. Cool.
This represents a lot of effort.
It does.
Let me go back to the top. I'll move approval once I get the.
Second.
Okay, and we have a second? Any other discussion?
Resolution 1-21-15A.
That's correct.
Any other discussion?
Was there a second?
I did second it,
Yeah.
yes. Commissioner Fleener made the motion.
All in favor?
Carries.
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, new business. Discuss,
Real quick,
yes,
Dean, is there a way to put bookmarks into the, I'd say hyperlinks that we can go back to the agenda?
Yes.
So we can touch our screen here and go back to the
There's a
agenda
way
versus.
to
Yeah.
do it on the side. I just don't remember how, but I'll,
Oh, I see over here.
Over there, yeah.
yeah.
Okay, that's how
Is
that
that
works. Yeah,
Yeah.
to the right,
Mhm.
you can go all the way back to the top of the agenda there. Okay, thank you. I'm sorry, Mr. Chair. Go ahead.
Siri wanted to talk to me for a minute.
How's Siri doing?
Fine. Okay, I lost my agenda, just like, should be up there.
Click on the,
There, I got it.
Future of the
No, I
Mapleton
didn't.
property.
Yes.
But I'll get it. Here it comes back. All right, new business, discuss future of the Mapleton property. Would you like to talk to that, or you want me to?
Go ahead. You can start
The
off.
Mapleton property is the dock right behind the store up in Mapleton that we have, we have a bathroom there and a few parking spaces. And it is kind of a problem for us to maintain. And we are thinking about maybe discussing with the county parks, who has a staff that goes around and maintains all their parks, to maybe take over that from us. So, because it really has no great value for us, and it is a problem to maintain.
Would the county be able to do that and leave it, because it's a free parking right now, isn't it?
Oh, yeah.
If the
Well,
county,
most of their parks are free parking. Well, I can't say that.
the counties aren't.
No, some are and some aren't, yeah.
Would that impact some of the people that are using the dock, and
I don't know, that's a good question.
have they had any input?
Yeah, and I don't think we've even talked to the county at all about maybe we should have the manager look into that.
Yeah, we haven't really spoken to anybody yet. We need to make it public that we're
Right.
going to, and then go
Okay.
talk about it, yes. That's what Ron is doing right now.
Yeah. Because there are a lot of people that may have input.
Sure, absolutely. Yeah, you need to get public input on all these kind of things.
Yeah. Why don't you look into that and report back to us? Yes, Bill?
Having served in a capacity of knowing a little bit about the county,
Yeah.
I don't want to cast any pessimism here, but I doubt very seriously whether the county will be interested in taking on this liability.
They're trying to shed
So-
liabilities, not take.
I would not want to see the staff spend a lot of time trying to move this forward, other than
Couple
perhaps a
phone
friendly
calls.
phone
Just
call.
a couple
but
of phone calls, yeah.
I would say that we probably need to have a plan B
Yeah.
ready to go,
Yeah.
because I don't think plan A is going to pencil out,
Well,
knowing what I know about the county.
Yeah, I agree.
yeah, well, we'll see.
If the state can't give them Knowles Creek, you know,
I know.
I mean, why would they wanna take the dock on?
Yeah.
So
Okay.
What about the Mapleton property owners, the business? I know there's an association there.
They might be interested.
We own the property there.
well, we have that dock and the ramp,
Yeah.
so somehow that has to be integrated into any acquisition, and I doubt if the association were going to take on that liability or responsibility of the dock.
Right, cause we're doing it now for nothing, so what do they want?
Yeah.
Can we decommission it?
Oh, man.
I know. I mean, if it's costing us more money than we're able to produce, at some point in time, we have to shed liabilities. And that would be a liability that we might be interested in shedding.
I think the value to the community up there, they pay taxes just as you and I do.
Yeah.
True.
I think we're stuck with it, and that would be my opinion.
But the question I have is, can we legally decommission it? If we had that political will.
I'd give you the same answer that the county's gonna tell you, I'm not even interested. I mean, I think you need to provide it as a community.
Is the property, how much property is associated with that?
There's a couple lots, waterfront lots that are there, plus the,
Maybe some group in Mapleton, the Lions Club or something, be interested in buying it for $1 or
Well,
$2.
the watershed has talked about it at a time or two,
There you
that
go.
they're not, I mean, I may be phrasing this incorrectly, that they're not getting a lot of support from the port for that's there. I
Sure.
mean, you know, because we're not up there doing a lot of things.
Because we have no money.
Right,
So the Watershed Council also has little resources.
right,
So they would be less inclined than the county to take over that responsibility, because there is a financial liability that just gets greater and greater with age. So again, as a port looking at its financials, were we getting the money to subsidize that operation on a long-term basis?
correct. Would it be somewhere down the line that we have all these, or try to get these people together to see if working through ideas for Mapleton
Mhm.
and us? Because obviously not going to be able to count on the county.
oh no, I'm sure we couldn't, but you've gotta make those first steps.
Yeah,
I would just like to know whether we can legally decommission it.
We'll check and see.
I mean,
That's,
how do we do that? Do we give
Yeah.
it back to the state, say, here, it's your,
I just have can I have a question that, how much does it cost us? I mean, there's gotta be,
yeah, we're putting that all together.
okay. I mean, is it the cost of an employee driving up there?
Yeah, it's staff
Yeah.
time,
Staff time mainly.
maintenance.
We're paying that employee whether he's driving up there or sitting here.
Well,
Well,
he could be
no,
working
he'd be
on other
doing something
things.
else here, more productive that isn't. Yeah.
Working on a revenue
But
generating.
yeah, and that's the
That-
the key. There's no revenue generation up there. It's zero revenue. Although we are getting tax money
Yes.
sure,
of $260,000
it's still a
approximately
service.
per year. How do you amortize that over all of the public assets, the $20 million worth of assets that we happen to have right now?
I think we just be thankful that we have those assets and amortize that into our existing docks and move on with it. You know, it's just a cost that, and
Okay,
it's a nice facility.
No doubt about it.
It's not like it's gonna fall apart tomorrow.
Commissioners, I'm giving you all an assignment. Everybody knows someone from Mapleton. Talk to them and see how they feel about that dock.
Oh, I know
was-
how they feel about that dog.
Well, then you need to, we'll talk about it again and get some input from them, and, you know, if they love that dock and they want it, then we will definitely stay with it.
But that goes.
They are
in-
taxpayers, like Terry said.
However, that should be factored into our cost of doing business from other revenue generating services that we have few and far between. So when we talk about RV park rental,
Yeah.
moorage rentals, a little portion of that has to go as a subsidy to the
Sure.
Mapleton dock.
Yeah, it's happening already.
It's happening right now.
Yes.
And it's going to continue. So as
Yeah.
we do our financial analysis, we need to factor that in, which you knew.
Yeah.
It's no new. No
Yeah, I don't
new-
know how you can factor all those things in, but,
And still stay in
and
business.
stay with the same staff we have.
So.
I'll keep it on the agenda for
we'll keep it
next
on the
month.
agenda
Yeah,
and bring
put
it
it
down
on the
information.
agenda and we'll talk about it again next
We'll
month.
bring that information.
In the
in, so,
meantime,
yeah.
you all have your assignments.
Well, I
Can
live
I
in
just ask one
Mapleton.
more?
I can tell you already.
Sure.
When you send someone up there, what are their duties when they go up there, Bob?
We've got landscape duties up there, and we have restroom duties up there. You've got, and then the typical dock stuff of cleaning out, debris and
Parking lot,
parking lot.
maintenance, striping.
So they're up there.
That's long-term maintenance.
Yeah, that's long term. But the normal stuff up there is pretty much an all day,
How often?
So it's one day a month,
Twice a week,
twice
a
week.
week, one
Twice a
day,
week.
twice a week?
Fridays and Mondays.
And,
They spend the whole day up there.
Not the whole day, I'd say half a day.
And
So
but
it's
you
one
got-
day a
but
week.
you
One
got-
full day, yeah.
But you've got two people if you're with your landscape people. So you got two people going up a half a day for twice a
Okay.
week. So
Do you want me to bring it up at the watershed meeting next
Please.
week?
please.
The more people that know about it,
We
the
need-
better.
And that's why we asked Ron to bring it up, and
Yeah.
so that the public starts, so we can get some feedback. We'll get some more financial information and
Well,
stuff.
I'm pretty sure what I'll be back with.
Oh, well, I am
Okay.
too. I am too, but you got to go through the first steps.
Right.
You
Yeah.
can't just ignore it.
Well, I think the advantage that it plays for those businesses up there. I mean,
I think so too.
you think they cried about Archie Knowles campground. Now you
Yeah.
start taking this away.
Yeah, they're really crying, yeah.
Yeah,
And I don't blame them.
Yeah, I don't either.
absolutely.
It is a definitely community asset. Okay, are we done with this one?
Yep.
Okay, let's move on to item 2, discuss pollution and property indemnification insurance for mortgage customers.
That's gonna cost you.
There you go.
Yeah, I
Bob.
know, really. Broken now.
I think, go ahead.
We've discussed this in the past. It's becoming more and more prevalent, and our insurance provider is about every 4 to 6 months asking if we're going to do this, or this is the insurance that protects it's not insuring a boat, it's the insurance that protects our dock should that boat burn down or sink or somehow damage our marina. And this is the insurance that they're talking about. Their last suggestion on this was if you're not if you're not gonna demand it, then you may want to segregate the boats that are insured and those that aren't insured and put them, not the boat insured, but that carry this insurance, and move the uninsured boats so that they're in a particular area that, should.
Middle of the river.
Well, yeah. So this is, I'm not bringing you all this information, I'm bringing it to you again because we have talked about it. You were mostly against it the first time we've talked about it. We need to, our liabilities being what they are, I think we really need to take a look at it and discuss it again and see what your feelings are, get some actual pricing for you and that sort of thing, but I don't know that we can carry on our,
Did we ever talk about what it's gonna cost them?
And how many are there?
Well, every mortgage customer, long-term.
Oh, so none of them have
It's not
this
true.
insurance?
Some have
Some
insurance.
have insurance.
But we don't require it
We don't require it, is what
at
she's
this
saying.
point.
I thought you did upon renewal. I had to,
No, we have never required the insurance. We've requested it, but
Yeah.
again, it's been talked about several times, so maybe that's what you're thinking, but we do not at this point require this type of insurance for any of our mortgage customers.
What is the cost? Do we have an idea of what it's gonna
I
cost?
think John Murphy quoted $300 a year approximately.
Per vessel.
Per vessel.
What, do you know, I know it's kind of personal, what's yours, Terry?
and that's about it.
Oh, is what it was? Oh, okay.
I was gonna say, it's the cheapest insurance you can buy as
Is
a
it?
boat
Okay.
owner.
Uh-huh.
It's not gonna cover your vessel, but I'm not gonna have to worry about the cleanup bill.
Right.
Every other port we go to requires it. If we don't require it, we're behind the 8 ball.
Yeah, that's what we're
Because we're
concerned
gonna
about.
pay for that cleanup. They can walk away from a boat.
Yeah.
And it's getting more prevalent. Washington is.
Well, what you
huge.
have is,
Yeah.
a lot of these boats were built in the 30s, 40s, and 50s.
Yeah.
The boat I took to San Francisco was built in 1948. Do the math. Look how old that boat is. And
Well, wait a minute, that's only 1 year older than I am.
that's
Do the
young.
math.
Could you swim to San Francisco?
I could float with the tides.
The point being, though, these boats
Yeah.
are problematic up and
They
down the
really are.
coast. And Newport's favorite saying is, "What do you do with them boats? We send them to the Siuslaw."
Thanks.
Well, I know the manager, and that's
So,
what he.
So
would
are
you
all-
recommend?
Excuse-
You bet. If we don't have that, we're behind the 8 ball.
Are all the boats out there insurable?
Mm,
You know,
Terry would speak to that more than I.
Was the
I would
Keelan
say
insurable?
yeah.
Yeah.
Alls I did was pay him money, and I thought, this ain't, and it flew. Now, Dave Huntington may have a, can I ask the audience? Dave, what's your opinion?
Oh, they're insurable for that kind of insurance.
For that insurance,
Doesn't
it
mean your
wasn't a
vessel's
problem.
gonna be
Yeah.
insured.
Yeah, if it's not insured.
You aren't
boat,
insured.
You're not
the
insuring
hull.
the boat, you're just
Yeah.
ensuring
Right.
that it doesn't do damage to our
That it
damage
property.
from
from the
the
dock?
That-
It's just a basic liability insurance policy that, like in Washington, all the marinas require it up there.
Yeah.
You can't even pull a boat in unless you have
Yeah,
And we're behind the 8 ball if we don't have it.
it.
Absolutely.
do
And
it.
like
Okay.
you said, it's around $300 a year,
Okay.
Okay.
It looks like we're going to move forward on this one.
Thank you very much.
You just need an opinion?
What I will
Opinion or a
do,
motion?
I will draft up a resolution for next month's
Oh,
meeting,
okay.
so
Okay.
it becomes
Good.
official.
With
Make
an
it official.
Implementation date.
Well, yeah, we'll start
Yes,
working on that.
we will
now.
do that.
Item 3 is discuss mortgage rate structure.
Did you
Seems like
pass
we've
this
done
out?
that before.
Well, you received this in your packet, but I tried to scan it. Well, there's
It
actually
did-
3 pages.
It didn't come out,
Oh,
No,
There's
okay.
those are
I've
all
never
one
seen
of
my
3.
card, one of yours.
and it's not changing.
I thought you could share.
Are they all different?
I guess.
Yeah.
There's
Yeah.
3 pages.
It's in our
Okay.
packet here.
Yeah.
It is, but the red part did not come out because they did not scan in color. But here's a third set. Here's the original set if you want to take a look at them. So of course you'll have to do the talking because I don't have it in front of me anymore.
The structure that
No,
we're
no,
doing
no, I want you
is
to
not
be able to-
changing rates on the commercial boats like we've talked about in the past. We're trying to, these charts were just all over the board as far as not, the footage, the recreational rates for a boat that was equal to a commercial boat. They didn't have this. They didn't have the same structure, and we've spent a bunch of hours trying to. You know, in my mind, it shouldn't matter if a rec boat is 30 feet and a commercial boat is 30 feet. I mean, they should at least fall under the same rate structure. If they're not paying the same amount, that's not relevant, but they at least should be in the same, you know, should look the same, and should, you know, what slips they fit in and that sort of thing. We did change some of the recreational.
In the East Basin,
In the
which
East
is on
Basin.
page 3.
If you look at that, that's the people that are transient and fishing and coming and going. We tried to just, it was really, really cumbersome. So we tried to get into a flat rate, middle of the road type of thing, which we end up with $15 or something instead of 12, 13, and 15. And make it really, really simple.
Keep it simple, yeah.
And it was difficult for them too, because, you know, they come in and they say, well, you know, they got a 23-foot boat, but they're sitting in a 40-foot slip, and it's like, well, you shouldn't be charging them for a 40-foot slip because they're got a 23-foot boat and they're only going to be here 3 days. I mean, if you're talking about being in the West Basin and living here, that's one thing. If you're talking about fishing here for 3 days, that's a different thing. So we tried to come up and make it really, really simple and easy on everybody.
Internally consistent.
Oh, yeah, yeah. And then try to keep the consistency with the West Basin as well for the long-term customers over there, so that nobody was unfairly affected, as far as we can tell.
Do you have a sense as to the net result?
I think it's going to be.
Port of Siuslaw?
I think it's going to be
neutral, or
I
is
think
it
it's
going-
pretty. I think it's pretty neutral. This was mainly to try to satisfy the cumbersome of our daily chores during the really, really busy season with the wrecks. How the software looked at it, you know, and try to make it really easy on and focus on the East Basin that has such a huge turnover. I mean, how many days? I think we figured out there was like 3,200 days if you count how many boats and how many days and that sort of thing. And the transactions were phenomenal, as you can imagine. And we had way too many categories for it to be in. So
Do we use Hercules for the
yes,
moorage? Well, that's good.
Yep.
and this will simplify the software as well.
I see this as very complex. And for me to go in there and say, yeah, there's a problem here, I'm much more of a generalist when it comes to this. I'd say let's try it out, because we can always go back and make modifications.
And it's price neutral.
And it seems
Best
to
as
be,
I can tell.
I see it's progressive, and the bigger the boat, the more we pay. I mean, I like that.
And that's not changing, that's always been.
Right, and I get a sense just looking at it, it's internally consistent. And I don't know how we're going to be able to make a determination as to whether or not this is the right schedule, other than let's just try it on and see what happens.
Again, this is just being presented to you tonight, and
Not changing
we will
anything.
come back in resolution form at the next meeting, so if you want to review it more, if you have any questions, we're here to answer those questions. But
Terry,
it-
you know, bounce stuff off if you find something that's odd. If
I did state a goal on each page
Yeah,
of
appreciate that.
what we were trying to accomplish.
And the prices haven't, I mean, the end final result prices haven't changed.
Well, the
It's
only-
just cleaning up the process.
It's cleaning up the process, but we
Right.
did change the daily rates on the recreational West Marina to be the same as the commercial rates, because the commercial rates were higher than the recreational rates, which usually
Yeah.
it's the other way
The other way
around.
around.
the other way around, and
And we did take some changes to the recreational East Marina in the week and the month categories, because the current rates is for a weekly rate, you stay 4 days. You pay 4 days and get 3 free.
Right.
That was quite a bit.
Yeah.
In the campground, a weekly rate is you stay 6 and get
Get
the
one
7th
free.
free.
Yeah.
So we changed that to a percentage base.
Rather than,
Instead of one night here or 2 nights there or whatever, so we're giving it a 25% off discount. So those rates would change, and we would have a public hearing as well for next month in order to actually change any of the rates.
and we'll take a look at it, but the majority of those boats out there, I mean, the vast majority of those boats out there are 3 days or less. I mean, when you take a percentage of the people that are coming in and using that east basin.
Yeah.
So I don't
Well,
think we're-
some of them are long-term, they're monthly.
I know there
There
are,
are
that's
some.
why I said the majority
Oh, okay.
is 3 days or less.
I think the benefit of having an internally consistent, measurable process is that we're going to be able to see more cause and effect in our financials. Because if it was not internally consistent, then there would be a certain amount of arbitrariness associated with mortgage rates,
Yes.
which would have an impact upon our financials that may not be cause and effect. So having something standardized is going to make it easier for us to follow month to month, year to year, and then make the incremental changes necessary to show improvement.
True.
I
So,
don't, I
next
don't
month
have
we'll
a
get it.
problem with any of that.
Okay. But if if you do throughout the month, throw it up, say
Yeah.
something, and
Yeah, we'll
and
let you know.
we'll take a look at it.
Okay, that ends our new business. The next are the reports from the commissioners and the president and the manager. Let's start with the manager. Do you have any reports?
We've had a very good meeting with Kathy McEwen on Tuesday. She was coming out, but was ill, so she decided not to share, and decided to do it on the phone. But we remember I just had a discussion with you folks that caused a storm with our southern ports.
Yes.
All right, and she finally things have calmed down a bit, so she was very apologetic for not getting back to us sooner to find out why we made that separation. So I explained to her everything I explained to you, my feelings about it. I was concerned that all the things I told you guys I got to tell her. She turned around and said she's going to take it up with the Coastal Caucus because she really does see some of the concerns that we had are valid, and she's going to go back to them and talk to them and say, wait a minute, let's calm down and make sure we've got our arms around this before we fully get engaged and continue to follow through with the project. So we've made some headway with that way. We also discussed the 2 pieces of legislation that we have on the table now. The way legislation works is Harrison has both copies on his desk right now. And
Who's Harrison?
Harrison is
Harrison Conley.
Conley is one of or the lead lawyer that looks at these pieces of legislation that comes through. And if it slides off his desk, it's never to be seen again until you rewrite something else. And he's got both of them on his desk. He hasn't got rid of them. One of the first legislation piece that he's had for a couple months that he's kept on his desk and is reviewing is the one with our relationship with the city. And are we in the city limits or are they in the Port District? And who has what relationship? And he's still reviewing it. Last we knew, and it hasn't been thrown away. And then the other one is the one we presented most recently with the revision, additions or modifications to ORS 777 that gives us the abilities to take a look at what 77 says, and if it doesn't say we can't do something, then we can do it, rather than the other way around, adding different whether it be utilities or industries into our port would be more acceptable. And that's what they'll redo the language, but they'll keep them, the material body of that essence of that needs to be in there. And she seemed to be very, very excited about and hopeful with that one as well. We had talked to her some months ago about that, and she seemed to be very supportive of it, and she pushed that one right through. So, don't know that it really will go anywhere. Most of those kind of things fall by the wayside, but they haven't yet. So that's kind of good for us that it didn't get thrown away right away. So we'll keep you informed on how that goes.
Anything else?
It's the most important stuff.
This last month, I attended the ACT meeting, the Lane ACT Area Council on Transportation by phone. It's a much easier trip than driving clear to Springfield and spending 2 hours in a boring meeting and driving back. So I did do that. Tomorrow.
Do they watch our film?
Tomorrow there is a conference call meeting for the Oregon Public Ports, in which I'm going to attend here, and I don't know if Nancy, are you going to be here?
Yes.
And it has to do with the from the Corps of Engineers. We'll be hearing from the Chief of Operations for the Portland District, and Mike Ott, who is the Navigation Mission Chief of Channels and Harbors, and I met him. I know him personally. And then what does it take for the port to get a Corps permit? A bunch of questions and answers, and it's supposed to end up at about 2 o'clock, so it's from 10 to 2, and anybody else is welcome to join us here if they'd like to. I will.
Lunch served?
Huh?
Is lunch served?
BYO lunch.
No, you bring your own lunch, unfortunately. The next thing that I have coming up is there is a Special District Association of Oregon Annual Conference in Eugene, which is on February 6th to the 8th. I'll be going on Friday and Saturday, and I suppose do I have to get approval
Yes,
since I'm spending one night and I need
you are, or you just told me you were going Saturday for the day only.
I changed my mind.
I've already sent in your registration for one day.
I already registered too.
You registered?
I think so.
There'll be two of you there.
Okay, we need to communicate.
Yeah, we need to communicate.
Okay.
Okay.
See me tomorrow.
Okay, I will see. Well, I'll be here tomorrow. Yes, I'll see
Okay.
you tomorrow. And I think that's all I've got in the immediate future. We every year go to Washington D.C. and this year I have kind of declined on going because for personal reasons. But Bob will go in my place, and he was there last year, and he knows his way around very well. And that's from March 1st to the 5th. So we have that. Bob will take care of that for us and report back to us. That's all I have to report. Terry, you've got anything?
No, one thing come to my attention, our price of fuel, we have to be careful. We're charging $3.79. Well, I can buy it for $2 a gallon in Newport right now. And that's great for me.
Sure.
But what it means is you're gonna end up with a lot of fuel. You better buy some stable and put in it now, or.
Oh yeah.
We
Okay.
bought it at the higher price.
I know, and we're stuck with it, but at some point you gotta say it's gonna have to.
Yeah, we will.
No, we're
Yeah.
good.
So that's just the only thing I have.
Okay, Nancy?
I'm going next week to the watershed meeting.
Okay, good. Anything else?
It's at Mapleton.
And you'll be here tomorrow, so.
I will be here tomorrow.
Good, for the port meeting. Bill, you're up next.
I've had the opportunity to speak to some of the newly elected city councilors and the mayor,
Yes?
and they would appreciate the opportunity for us to get together for a work session occasionally, perhaps 2 or 3 times a year,
Okay.
so that we can coordinate our efforts. And I believe that either the chairman here or our manager acting on behalf of the chair might reach out to the city of Florence and try to make those arrangements so that we can have a couple of work sessions to coordinate our efforts. So I've just been given thumbs up by several of them,
Okay.
so I think that's a good omen.
I can discuss it with him, but I don't know what we really need to have a work session over at the moment.
Economic development
Yes, economic development is a goal for all of us, yes.
for both entities,
Yes.
and so
Yes,
that
we
we're not going after the same pot of money through different
Yes.
resources.
Yeah, I can see that.
Coordinate our
Yeah.
efforts is basically what
Yes.
I'm seeing as an advantage.
Okay. Bob and I will look into that. Getting a meeting together with them, or at least talking to them. You have anything?
Good.
Anything? Anybody have anything else? I didn't think so. We're adjourning at 7:44, it looks like. And thank you all for coming.